What's up, guys? Kazdan is on here with another Intellivision Amico video. I know that I said in my last video that I'm not really going to try to make this an Amico page. I just felt like the recent update within the Amico community was enough to warrant another video. Excuse me. First off, I'm coming down from a sinus infection, so I apologize if I sound a little off. First off, I want to just say thank you to the Geek Getaway for allowing me to have an opportunity to join their live last week. It meant a lot to allow me to be able to vent and kind of explain what my previous video was about. I admit I did not base that video in fact, but was merely a rant. So for those of you guys who are returning because of that, thank you for the time of watching that video and the consideration and the honest criticism. Anyways, to get to the point, so supposedly Phil Adams on the Intellivision Amico Facebook group page, he supposedly sent out an email and addressed the negative clashback to the Amico. He addressed what they were planning to do with the company. And a few things that were noted in that supposed email was that they are making some test units for the Amico. I mean, that's great and all, and don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking it. I mean, if that's what they're doing, that's what they're doing. But at this particular point, I feel like they should have something more than just, oh, we're going to put something forward for test units. More importantly, another thing mentioned in the email is that a lot of people who have requested refunds have not had those refunds met. I still have my pre-order for the Founders Edition. I think that I'm still going to hold out for a little bit longer. I am more than likely going to cancel. I mean, it's $100 invested into it. It's not really much of a loss, but as I've mentioned before in other videos related to the Amico, I wanted to get the Amico with the intent to have family game nights with my nieces. Ended up getting Switches, yada, 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 the whole 9 yards. But the point is like, now I don't know where my money's gone. It seems like the company is trying to make some positive moves, and I guess that's good in its own right. But at the same time, playing the waiting game and trying to bite for time while they get these other investors, which they didn't specify who these two investors are that they now have, but supposedly there's two investors that are going to help them with this. And they plan to also release exclusive content on other platforms without taking away from the idea that is the Amico. Now, I don't remember the gentleman's name, but I will point him up over here in the corner. He did make a valid point that, Intellivision has had some issues with licensing. Did I pronounce that right? Licensing, whatever, their IPs for the parts that they use to make these Amicos, which is one of the key factors for why they can't even sell it to begin with. Not to mention the fact that the company is probably more than likely going to go bankrupt, filing Chapter 11, because projected results state that it's probably going to only be able to remain operational until the end of July, which obviously for any company that doesn't look good. So we may not get the Intellivision Amico. For those of you guys who are looking for it, I'm kind of on the fence. I want it. It's what I paid for. I still stand by. I think that some of the games look like they'd be fun, but I don't think that at this particular point the wait was worth it, in my opinion. It's too far gone. It's too far in the future with the hardware that they've used, and even though it could be a good platform for those who it's marketed towards, I don't see it being a success at this point. I think that if I end up acquiring one at any particular point, should it be released, it would be mostly for the sake of novelty, which is pretty much why I collect. I enjoy novelty. But anyway, getting back to this email, the whole thing with Intellivision is they acknowledge that they've laid off a lot of their teammates. They have mentioned that they have a series of investors. They're not saying who those are, which kind of bothers me. But they supposedly are trying to push forward with this. They're trying to get it out by the end of the year. We've heard that a million times before, especially as I've said before in the last video. They've pushed it back twice this year. Also addressed was that the GameStop issue was a bit of a logistics problem on GameStop's end. So also, thank you for that comment up there. I just felt like this email was worth noting. I do feel a bit burned out by the company. I do feel that a lot of people are. But I did also make a post on Facebook on the page asking how many people still had their pre-orders. And honestly, it's still ongoing. There's still a lot of people who are commenting that, yeah, I'm holding out, I'm still all in. And you know what? I support you. I'm there with you. But at the same time, I'm on the fence of not being a supporter to the Amico. I'm honestly on the fence at this point. I want my Amico, there's no in between. I want what I paid for. I want what was promised. I have 150 invested in the games, which are just basically IOUs at this point. I have $100 on my pre-order, and they keep increasing and increasing the price point of the Amico. Because they have to pay off these investors, they have to pay off these licensing agreements for these parts that they used that they didn't even have permission to sell to begin with, which was just a terrible idea from the get-go. I don't understand how a company would think that that's okay if they haven't already secured it. You know what I mean? But anyways, I'm not going to make this video too long. I just kind of wanted to put my 2 cents in if anybody cares or wants to hear more. As always, like I said before, if I do anything Amico related in the future, it'll only be based on fact. I'm not gonna make this an Amico channel. I'll only post videos about it whenever I think it's important, which would probably be like, I don't know, once every other month, maybe, I guess. But it all depends on when information comes out that's relevant to the company, to the product, or even worse, if it comes down to the company hitting Chapter 11, I will, of course, make a video on that. If there's anything you guys want me to talk about, drop a comment in the box below, and thank you for watching. I've been Kaz Denizon with Crass Productions. Thank you for listening to my rant, and I hope everyone has a wonderful and blessed day. Also, if you guys get a chance, check out the Geek Getaway, because, again, good content. I've recently started watching some of their videos. They have some critical opinions about the Amico. For those of you who are critics towards it, or even if you're a supporter, some of that information might be useful to you. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff floating around online is hearsay, and it's kind of hard to get accurate source material, towards whatever's going on with the company. But, use your brain. Think clearly. Anyways, you guys have a great day. Take it easy. Bye.